this getting old thing. I don't know how to parse it. Like
It ain't cool. It is not
I
cool.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes it is. Maybe sometimes it isn't. Danny hated it. But like today at work, there's a scrub tech at work who's pretty freaking cute. But she's
And she's
also
12.
you've got the number order wrong, but you've got the numbers right.
Yeah, I mean, she's 12. It doesn't matter if she's actually
Well,
21.
like that's the
She's
fucking
basically
thing.
12.
Okay, that's literally half my age. There is no mental gymnastic that I can do that makes anything that, if I were ever single, there's no mental gymnastics I could do that could ever make that feel okay.
Yeah,
Right?
like you have
Ever,
nothing
ever,
in
ever.
common. What are you gonna talk about? You graduated when she was like
I don't
born.
know.
Like,
Her love of cheese, I can understand that. Like, but yeah. 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 I could drink before she was born, and by the time she's my age, I will have not been drinking for longer than I will have known her. But anyways, she's like, you know what? I'm dating somebody, and he's like 30, but I really love older guys, and this is somebody that has hit on me in the past, and I just like there's some flattery going on there that I can't help but respond to, but also I just want to be like, "Oh, honey, at dinner I would probably have to cut up your steak." Like I feel like I'm going to have to put a bib around your neck, and that's not a good look for your old boy William. I don't think that's a good look at all. So, welcome to the Save versus Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever maddening society, with your host Will and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Will. I am your host here on Save versus Poison. We got an exciting evening for you planned. We're going to talk a little bit about the Sinclair Method conversation that I had on live stream over on Twitch this past week on Sunday. That was a great stream. Talked with one of our community members for a little over an hour about the subject of sobriety and how medical assisted paths to recovery can be really, really, really valuable in curbing or ceasing the consumption of alcohol or opiate substances. We're also going to talk a little bit about Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which if you are a fan of Jedi Fallen Order or a fan of Souls-likes, this might be a game that you want to keep an eye on. I know that I will be. I know that Steve will be. I think that because there's no hunt mod for it, Ticky will not be. Ticky will not be. No. Ticky, unfortunately, won't be joining us tonight as he is currently defecating in the back seats of all of his exes in a gag that he calls driving Miss Ducey. But joining me tonight, his favorite pastime is using a straw to drink the pudding out of the middle of cream-filled donuts and making eye contact with anyone over the age of 65. He's our friend Steve. Good evening, Steve.
good evening. That is a favorite pastime.
I just love the idea of you just holding a donut like off to the side and the straw is coming in through like the corner of her mouth and you're like just staring with like a little smile and thinking to yourself, I'm sucking the donut's soul out right now.
I like the thought of it, like getting to that point, like when you have a regular drink and you get that like that end part,
Yeah.
like it gets loud.
Kind of a hollow gurgling sound.
Yeah.
You ever see you saw A Million Ways to Die in the West, right? You didn't like it, right?
I mean, it was fine.
You didn't like it. You said you didn't like it. It's okay.
Well,
It's okay.
it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I hate,
Seth MacFarlane, right?
and subsequently I didn't like it.
Okay. So there's one moment, Giovanni Ribisi is in it, right?
Correct.
And I find Giovanni Ribisi to be not only an incredibly talented actor, but a really funny guy when he's playing in a comedy. Well, there's one scene where he's like sipping out of a cup. He's like at a dance, and it's a shot from behind, and he's looking over his shoulder, sipping this thing, and he's just sort of gyrating his hips while he's sipping. It's one of the fucking creepiest things, and I couldn't stop laughing at it. And every single time I have a straw in my mouth, I want to channel Giovanni Ribisi and try to find somebody or a camera that I can look directly into so that I can make them feel just that uncomfortable. It I don't know. Maybe that's just funny to me.
I always want to do the was it from Scrubs with the straw where he's like he can't find it.
Oh yeah. Like you're like searching for it with your tongue, like
it's
like where is it? I can't tell. Yeah, that's
like not look at the straw. You keep looking at other
keep
people
while
you doing
forward while you're like. That was a visual gag, everybody. Sorry about that.
You're welcome.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should watch this on YouTube. It's over on YouTube.
Also, watch Scrubs.
Also watch Scrubs. Yeah, it's a great show. Actually, Scrubs is probably the medical show that gets closest to how I feel about our roles in the operating room. Even though that's about like physicians, which are the, educational level a couple above us. It's still got like the ridiculous cast of characters. I feel like every hospital has that. Like every single hospital has that. Like, don't you think? I totally think that.
I do. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100% think that. 100% think that. So, yeah, good game.
I'd call some of the ones that I work with out, but some of them listen to this. So.
Some of them actually listen to the podcast. So they're part of the eight listeners that we've got right now, huh? Okay.
Yeah, so I can't. So I have a theory on that too.
Oh, good.
Does it get like the data from everywhere? Because personally, I listen to it on a very not obscure platform, and some of the people that I've had listen to it and that I know listen to it pretty regularly listen to it on that same thing, which is just Google Podcasts. And I don't know, like, do you get the information from that?
Yep, I do.
Unless they lie to me, but they tell me about the shows.
We get the information. So. It might literally just be them and like two other people. That's possible. That's possible. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, it's something you don't want to talk about that kind of thing on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
Because it like listen. We're losing numbers, and if you listen to this, you're a loser too. Like, you don't want to present that. That's not a healthy way to run things.
Or if you're listening to this, tell some friends.
Yeah,
Make them listen to it.
Yeah. Guilt trip them. Go up to them and be like, listen, an alcoholic. This show, it's not going to help, but it might be funny. I don't know. Maybe
get on Spotify and leave us a 5-star review.
That'd be great. Every 5-star review is one more potential listener that we can guilt trip into giving us a 5-star review. So, anyways, how are you, Steve? How was your week, man? How are things?
Things were good
until
I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Celebrated the little one's birthday.
Did you eat spaghetti barbecue?
I didn't eat spaghetti barbecue. We had a fire truck theme, so we had Firehouse subs, which were delicious and a big hit at the party.
Scrumdiddly yum yum.
Yeah.
Like a big platter? Or did you guys all have to go a la carte?
I made everybody go buy their own and bring it. Yeah. But that way everybody got what they wanted.
There's like a part of me that's a capitalist that's like, listen, I really appreciate that. But there's a part of me that's
bring
like,
your own Firehouse.
All right. I don't know how much it is to cater a Firehouse sub kind of party, but can't imagine it's too expensive.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't terrible. Do you know what I did find out though?
Yeah,
very pleasantly surprised.
Go ahead.
They give you Duke's mayo and Duke's brown mustard, which was
who?
It's a brand. It's called Duke's.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Very pleasantly surprised that was the condiment offerings for the sandwiches that we got.
Okay, to give me a number rating, 1 to 10. Where's Duke's on this?
1 to 10.
Yeah, 1 to 10. Give me I want a solid number.
I like Duke's.
What's
a
the
lot.
mayo? What's the
they're
mayo?
An 8.
1
They're
to
an
10.
8.
They're
oh,
an
the mayo.
8.
I'm hard to judge on mayo. I don't really care for mayo.
Did you have any of the mayo?
I haven't. I mean, I've had it before. I didn't have it this time.
Have you ever drank the mayo out of the middle of a sandwich with a straw before? Because I'm sure
because I don't like
sound that you would
that
get
much.
would be the exact same. Like
mayo belongs on tuna, and
I was like Miracle Whip on tuna.
No,
that was my jam.
You're wrong.
How can I be wrong? I'm stating a preference. All right, it's not wrong to state a preference.
Your preference.
Fucking
is
Jack
wrong.
Black and High Fidelity. Don't throw that at me. Not cool. Not cool. All right.
Anyways, back to the story. The point is this.
So the mustard is an 8. The mayo, you're going to say you're not going to give a rating to.
Mayo's. It's fine.
Okay, it's just mayo. It's whipped fat. Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
Mustard is
whipped fat.
So Dukes, we're looking for sponsors. We've got 8 listeners.
Exactly. Hopefully one day soon.
Yeah, hopefully one day soon.
So the birthday party was good. It was a good time. That was good. However, today, things took a turn for the worst.
For the worst.
For the worst.
Do tell.
Without completely naming names, my least favorite doctor to work with.
Okay.
Who had retired.
Oh, and you had that moment of ding dong, which is dead.
Yeah,
which is
I
dead,
am rid of this person.
Yeah, forever, for all of time, and poof.
He came back.
He came back, and then
he came back, and apparently is going to work like 1 day a week.
Oh, buddy.
Which is, for someone who's like, just really part time. I was like, that's a lot, man. Like I have to see you 1 day a week.
And it's all because like he couldn't get a hobby. His wife was tired of him bothering her.
I mean, and you know what's funny? Like, and this part's on me a little bit. In my head, I was like, well, maybe he won't be so bad. He was retired, at the very least, maybe he'll get a couple shifts in before he'd be a complete pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No.
Immediate a-hole.
No. Yeah, it took him all of 6 hours to ask me for ridiculousness. He wanted me to recalibrate something on the machine that is not a thing that can be recalibrated without
dismantling it and taking it down.
Yeah, without having it rep come and do it. This is not something that it's just not a recalibrating thing, man.
Gotcha. You poor beast of burden.
So upset.
We've got to find a better way for you to make money.
I was rid of him.
He was gone forever.
I was rid of him.
You were. You were. And the next thing is only sweet death will release you from this. His, not yours.
He'll follow me. Apparently.
You think so?
Apparently he's going to follow me.
He's going to be your what was it? Marley? Was that the name of the character from
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Rattling chains.
Rattling chains, baby. Just rattling chains and asking you to hook up the circuit.
He will, too.
Yeah, he will.
He'll be like, can you change my soda sorb? And I'm like, you're in my way.
Get out of the fucking way. You do it. You're sitting in the chair. What do you got to do? Another New York Times crossword? Motherfucker, I know that was U.S. News and World Report's crossword. Just ridiculous. All right, that's not the New York Times. Try to pass that off on me. 4 down, asshole. There it is. Well, I'm terribly sorry to hear that you have a little stress at work, my friend.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Me too.
That sucks. I'm sleepy. I'm sleepy, though.
Why are you sleepy?
I'm sleepy because my 1 day of work a week that I had to do today for 5 hours.
I wonder...
It wasn't even a full day. That's what makes it so great. It wasn't even a full day. But I couldn't sleep last night because I was so worried about being there on time. Because, I only have, 3 clients right now, right? I've got 3 clients. It's kind of... I've curated it that way so that I don't, I'm mostly around for the kids. I think, for every pair of working parents, you are doing everything that you can. And that's awesome. If you have the opportunity to have a parent at home during the period in time of your children's lives when they're at their most vulnerable and impressionable, that's a beautiful thing, and we're lucky enough to do that. So, if you're working parents, if you're 2 working parents trying to raise a family, you are doing everything right. I hope, I think. As far as, well, I hope, behaviorally you might be assholes, but but you're trying to put food on the table, and that's a good thing. All right, so we'll go with that. Okay, all right. I feel like there's going to be a lot of qualifiers here, and I'm just going to dig myself a fucking trench
from
here
the little bit
to bury myself in. Yeah, from what I can see, if you've got two parents working one job each, you're doing something, doing at least one thing right. How did that work? Did that work?
I like it.
That work? Okay,
it seemed reasonable.
Seemed reasonable and sincere. I wasn't being an asshole about it. Good. And that's hard. That's really, really hard. But I have the 3 clients. I'm mostly a stay-at-home dad. I'm very lucky to be able to do that. That's not something everybody can do. I wish it was something that everybody had the option to do. Now, if you want to work, then that's great. You should go and work. Go do that. I just we made the decision that it was going to be like this. But that one day out of the week that I do have to work, I get really nervous about it because I only have the 3 clients, and those 3 clients are a big part of the income that I do bring in. And while I kind of left the sort of, masculine archetypal thought about my value that I bring to the family is the value that I add to our bank account, I left that behind me several years ago. That took a little while to get past, by the way. I left that behind me a couple of years ago. It's still something that's important to me to be able to say, hey, I am contributing in all these ways that are, domestic and at home, but I'm also contributing, to our financial security as well. That's really, really important to me. So, yeah. But, if I say my one day of work a week and I go, I'm really sleepy, nobody's giving me any kind of grace or latitude with that. They're all just being like, listen to this posh motherfucker.
Your one day of 5 hours.
You ain't a man.
Not even a full day of work.
Not even a full day. Not even a full day. Yeah. I got 2 full days next week, though. 2 full days.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, I will get 2 days of not sleeping. You know what sucks? Didn't get to the gym today. Man.
Which would have been a legitimate excuse for being tired.
Would have been a legitimate excuse for being tired, because I go hard at the gym, man. I go hard.
We've all seen the creepy pictures.
Like an Adonis. Yeah. Greek bathhouse style. Yeah. I'm just looking at the camera real creepy and rubbing my belly button right now. Although the people on YouTube can't see the belly button rubbing. But you know what's happening. Wink. So... yeah, other than that, my weekend was pretty good. Working on ideas for the Twitch stream and for the YouTube stuff. I need to produce more content for it. We're getting a trickle of folks coming in and wanting to engage, which is awesome, and I'm so grateful for everybody that stops by. Even if you stop by just the once, I am so incredibly grateful for that. But, the more eyes that we have on it, the more I feel like the quote unquote sort of mission that we here at Save versus Poison are trying to do, the more people that show up, the more validated I feel in continuing to pursue it. Because, it is time doing something that I really love doing, but it's also time away from doing things specifically with my family. And you, Steve, as somebody who sacrifices a whole hell of a lot for his family, I can't tell you how appreciative I am that you take time out of your schedule to help me stay sober.
Yeah.
Love it, buddy. Love it. Speaking of people that are sober, my name's Will, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve, and I'm not an alcoholic.
Ooh.
But I did see a picture of a really fat squirrel today.
A really fat squirrel? You know what's funny? We had conversations about squirrels in the operating room today.
Oh, yeah? Was it about really fat squirrels?
We did. Yeah, we were talking about people that you can't shame anymore, and basically the list is grown. No, the list has grown so large of people that you're not allowed to shame anymore. The only people you are allowed to shame are vegans and vegetarians. Huh? That's it. That's all you're that's it. That's all you're allowed to shame is vegans and vegetarians. Weird. And maybe CrossFitters. Although I did meet a CrossFitter this weekend, and she was like, "Yeah, I know it's a cult, but it's you want to come?" That was really funny. It was a very funny moment. She 100% was being tongue in cheek about the fact that she recognized that it was a cult, but at the end of it, she's like, listen, I think you'd get a lot out of it. I think you really would. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible. And honestly, I already wear uncomfortable underwear. I don't want to have to trade the garment in for whatever you CrossFitters use. I know it's something that's terrible because you guys move through those exercises so fast to try to get that fucking thing off. At least that's my working theory. That's my working theory. All right, so the squirrel thing came up when we were talking about like pot smokers in Colorado. Like you can't shame pot smokers the way that you used to shame pot smokers. So now the guy that I was talking about it with, the surgeon, was like, yeah, this weekend I painted my new office and I got high and I talked to the squirrels. That's all I did. I just talked to the squirrels. Now, of course, he did not get high because he's a goddamn doctor and wouldn't smoke weed. Not only that, like he's an ex-narcotics cop who's got just a fascinating fucking story, and it's one of my favorite, probably one of my favorite people. I really like working with this guy a lot. But we're talking about it, and I'm like, so you talked to the squirrels? Did you use the squirrels as paintbrushes on your walls while you were high? Because that I feel like is something that you would do. So that was you said you saw a picture of a fat squirrel, and that brought to mind the idea of squirrel paintbrush. I think it would make interesting patterning, like squirrel trying to like scrabble away from whoever is, trying to sponge paint the wall in squirrel print.
Like, just get the image of you dipping a squirrel's tail.
Yes. Yeah, just like flinging it around by its body, like the tail, just or maybe doing the Miyagi thing.
Well, I was gonna post the picture of the fat squirrel, but
you should to the Discord.
Well, I was going to, but like I don't. Something's weird. Like apparently, I only have access to and now it's gone. For a while there, I only had access to the selfie channel for some reason.
What?
I don't know what's happening, but like including the other things gone too. The other project, it's just missing from my Discord. I don't know, man.
How? I'm so confused right now.
Me too. It's just gone off of my.
Here's the thing. I pull it up. We've done a couple of things to the Discord server, and I think it's making things difficult.
Like it's just gone.
I do. I think it's making things very difficult.
Because I was gonna post this picture of this spectacularly fat squirrel, because it's really fucking fat.
Sure. It's a real fat squirrel, you guys.
It's a really fat squirrel.
I like the idea of your really. I want to see your fat squirrel, man.
I mean, I would like to post this fat squirrel.
I feel like I should be able to say to you, "Hey, bro, post your fat squirrel on my Discord." I feel like I should be able to.
I don't know what's happening now, man.
All right,
that's doing really weird things.
Yeah, well, you've got the correct permissions. So unless something went sideways, which is possible, fuck. All right. Well, I've got some work on the Discord server to do. Oh well. Stop by our Discord server, everybody.
It seems to work really well.
Real well sometimes, not always.
I promise you, eventually you'll see a fat squirrel.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna see a goddamn fat squirrel. All right. This week in sobriety news, since last week, my family got back into town. During that week, I had two cravings that were of note. One of which was on the first weekend. The second one was a little bit later in the week. One, I think, came after a drinky dream. I'm not 100% sure. Like, the cravings, they sort of blend into the background a lot of the time. Like, I'll think about it at the time, and then it stays kind of fresh in my memory for like a day or two. But after a little while, it gets a little bit, a little fuzzy. And I can't remember exactly what they were, but yesterday I had a little bit of one, and it had to do with, I learned that somebody that I'm close to is dating somebody that they're really, really into, who's making a lot of money, like a lot of money. Now, I am not by nature a jealous person, not in the slightest, not with my wife, not with other people's stations in life. Everybody's got their own journey. And I've always felt this way. But this was the first time after listening to The Weeknd that the person I care about and the person that they're dating, what they did over the weekend is the first time I've been like legitimately jealous of somebody else's money. And I work around physicians who make 5, 6, 7, 8 times what I do. Never jealous about it. Never once. Like, I'm like, listen, they do the work. That's awesome. They make that money. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. I was jealous. I was like full on fucking jealous yesterday, and it actually triggered a little mini craving in me where I was like, man, god damn it. Like now I'm jealous that they're not alcoholics and they're rich. What the fuck?
The least you could do is be an alcoholic.
The least you could do was have a substance abuse problem. That way I'd have something on you. But now I'm like, I'm recentered, and I basically took the day and, focused on the things that I have that I'm thankful for, and the opportunities that I've had that I've made good use of, the fact that I work 1 day a week. I mean, this person didn't work 1 day a week. Of course, it doesn't help that they're like retired and still making that money. So that's another little needle in there. But it was one of those moments where I was just like, man, I like, they can enjoy all the beer that I'm not allowed to enjoy, and they can afford to probably buy the brewery that made the beer. And that was a little bit rough. It was a little bit rough, but I'm okay. Like I'm still 3 years and almost 4 months sober, so I'm doing all right. It was just such a weird sensation to feel jealous about something. I never get jealous, like never. It never happens. I've had moments in my marriage where most people could understand. They might not condone, but they could understand me being jealous. Not even a little bit. My wife and I are so very, very good about communicating and being what the other partner needs, that there's never been a jealousy issue. So yeah. So that's my check-in for this week. I'm overall doing very well. Actually, one of the things that was really cool, like right after I had this sort of revelation last night, this initial onset of this very negative emotion, I saw on the YouTube channel somebody like subbed to the YouTube channel and said that they couldn't believe that somebody was doing this. They'd always had this thought that they or somebody else should do something like this, and they were really looking forward to the content. So that felt incredibly validating, and it happened like 20 minutes after I felt this what I would consider a pretty frustrating emotion. So that's my check-in. Steve, do you have anything that you'd like to check in with?
No. Like I said, it was a good weekend. Things are good.
Okay.
Fish shake at a nuisance doctor, but
yeah, stupid nuisance
outside of
doctor.
that, things are good.
Gotcha. Okay, man. All right. No Ticky, so no Ticky share tonight. Tonight I wanted to talk, pardon my throat clear, a little bit about a conversation that I had live on the Twitch stream. You can go see the VOD on our YouTube channel, Save vs. Poison Podcast, with a community member who utilized the Sinclair Method, that's the naltrexone, with some cognitive behavioral therapy to move past the worst of a drinking problem. Now, this person like showed up in my DMs about a day after we did the Claudia Christian kind of expose on the TED Talk, where she talks about her experience with naltrexone and using medically assisted sobriety techniques. So I was absolutely flabbergasted when this person shows up, goes, "Hey, have you ever, I like your channel. I'm really interested in what you're talking about. Have you ever heard of the Sinclair Method?" And I was like, are the stars out tonight? Is Saturn in perfect alignment with Venus? This is amazing. Like, yeah, we literally talked about this, this week, and you're showing up. Well, it took about 2 weeks to get him on the show, and I am unbelievably appreciative of how open and honest this guy was with us. He came into the call with me. Sorry, my dog just walked in the room. So I gotta pet him real quick. He's a very good boy. He came into the call and immediately prefaced things by saying, "Listen, I'm not 100% sober. I still smoke weed on a regular basis, And there are times during the year where I will have a drink. But I'm going to tell you about how bad things got in terms of... oh, I got to get a sneeze button. Sorry about that, everybody. How bad things got in my abuse of alcohol as a primary substance of choice. And he goes on to tell a story about how he, was alienating friends and family, how he was, damaging his health, and eventually it gets to a point where he starts talking about his experience with the Sinclair Method. And the thing that I found kind of interesting about it was, one, he's got more work to do. But he prefaced everything by saying he's got more work to do. Two, he stated that his experience and relationship to alcohol has changed drastically. And I think that that's a really, really important thing to hone in on. That medically assisted cessation of craving technique like that can be effective, which is very, very interesting. Now, it's not something that I think that I'll adopt. The things that I'm doing are currently working, and I'm currently abstinent from alcohol 3+ years. Also don't do anything else. The idea of uppers never did much for me. The idea of depressants, I always thought heroin, I probably like that a lot. So that's probably not a good idea. So we're not going to do heroin, everybody. I mean, right, Steve? We're not going to do heroin, right? Seems like
stuff we want to avoid.
Yeah, longevity move, right? Plus, I'm already plugged up enough from the protein diet that I'm eating. Like, I can't imagine adding heroin to that. That'd just I might as well just start eating nothing but cork.
Cork.
Delicious, buttery cork. So I really, really appreciated that he was so open and honest about his entire experience with naltrexone. One of the things that in postscript I thought was really, really interesting was that when I was given access to naltrexone, it was as a craving stopper, like a physical craving stopper, but there was no additional therapy that went with it. I was just supposed to take the pill and feel like I didn't want to drink. Now, whether it worked or not, it didn't matter. I was early in my addiction recovery, and what I really, really wanted was just to throw everything at the wall and see what stuck. I didn't drink during that time, so I kept taking the pill thinking, you know what? Probably not hurting, right? Probably not hurting. This guy had a really hard time getting naltrexone. I did not. I was given naltrexone almost immediately off the bat upon speaking with a behavioral health physician. Like, almost immediately, I had a prescription for that and gabapentin, which was supposed to help with sleep and was going to help with the cessation of craving. He had to go to a specific clinic to get this prescribed to him. So I don't know if it's Kaiser's medical model for dealing with addiction that led me right to it, as if I was just walking down a dotted path, or if because they didn't talk to me about the Sinclair Method. They just said naltrexone will help you with your cravings. That's it. I wasn't given an option to seek further information about what this guy said worked. Now, this guy had a harder time getting naltrexone, but he used naltrexone in combination with a type of therapy that led to him lessening the amount of alcohol that he was intaking on a regular basis. We also went on to talk about other issues that can afflict addicts. The idea of food addiction. The amount of calories that onboarding that much alcohol can add to your diet, and how incredibly disastrous that can be for you. So we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. It's a 2-hour-long talk. The VOD is up on YouTube. You're more than welcome to go take a look at it. It's a really, really great episode, and I was absolutely floored that this person was as open and honest as he was. And I think that if you give a listen, you might find some interesting and insightful moments in it. I think that'd be good. Steve, any thoughts about the Sinclair Method and what I just shared?
Uh, no, not specifically.
Okay. Okay.
I think it's really cool that you definitely had somebody reach out who was able to put some context to what we've all been kind of talking about for the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, not done it, I don't have too much to add.
Sure, sure. Well, it was funny. Like I told my wife about this, and she's like, "Oh man, maybe I should try it. Maybe I should try it." I was like, you're not like you don't have that dopamine reaction to alcohol coming on board. So I don't think that it's because what naltrexone does is block opiate receptors, opiate and dopamine receptors. And when an alcoholic gets that first splash of liquor in them, it gives you a dopamine hit. It gives you a euphoria. I love that feeling so very, very much, and that's part of the problem, right? Like I can think about that feeling right now, and I'm like, oh, I really miss it. I wish I could do that in a safe way, but I can't because I am what I am. So she started saying, yeah, we should experiment with that. I'm like, I'm not fucking touching booze ever again, never, babe. Like maybe that was performative right in front of her because she's like the one asking me, but
this is a trap.
Yeah, this is a fucking trap. You're trying to get all half my money, which is like,
I know this is a trap.
Like 2/3 of what you make in a year. So what would you be gaining other than just having bad credit from a divorce? I don't know. This is a trap. That would be funny if that, like, she springs it 3 years into my recovery. Ha ha! Gotcha, fucker. That'd be funny. All right. So, that's what I got for this week's topic of conversation. Alcoholism wise. Sorry about the little stutters here and there. My family has been coming in and out of the recording space. I really do need a sign on the door that says, "I love you. Fuck off." Yes. But Augie's a good dog. Augie's a very good dog. Who's a good dog? Augie's a good dog.
I don't know how well the sign would work for the dog.
I don't know. He just stayed there scratching at it, wondering why I don't love him anymore.
I can't read.
He's so codependent. Like, he's such a codependent dog. There's not a moment of the day that if there's an adult in the house, he isn't right next to that adult. Not all. He's a very sweet boy, though. So, anyways, Steve, you have thoughts about a game that's on your list. Why don't you tell me about what that game is and what its prequel was?
Well, the game is Jedi Survivor. I'm pretty dang stoked about it. The prequel was, the first in the series.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. Yep.
Jedi Fallen Order. I enjoyed the heck out of Fallen Order. I go ahead.
I was gonna say. I was gonna ask why.
I was about to explain
brought
why
you to that game.
I was about to say what I enjoyed about it.
Well, who's being rude now? Me.
So I liked a bunch of stuff about that game. I enjoyed the from the narrative standpoint, of expanding into some of those other parts of the Star Wars universe, all the while still having some problems with it. Like, it seems like there's now 200 Jedi that survived the order to kill all the Jedi.
Was it Order 66?
Order 66. It just seems like there's a lot, which is kind of, I don't know.
Funny.
But
Palpatine died by being thrown down a shaft. All you needed was some, plywood, and that problem solved.
It was right? Not, yeah. So, I mean, and the story itself had some kind of issues. Spoilers, if you don't want them, like.
If you haven't played it by now, the game's been out for
exactly.
How long?
So I'm going to spoil it. But like your whole mission, by the time you get to the end, you kind of just like, well, never mind. Like, you do all this stuff throughout the game. You get to the end, and then your character decides just never mind. I'm just
wait. What?
Well, so
I played I think 2 or 3 maps.
Did you not beat it?
No, I didn't beat it. No.
Oh, okay.
No, my ADD kicked in, and I was like, "It's time to play something else. Maybe it'll be something I've already played. I don't know."
You got enough of the story where you know that your main goal is to get this holocron back, right? to keep the force sensitive children away from the Empire, right? This list
Sure.
of force sensitive children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the that's your MacGuffin. Those are your droids, so to speak, right? Those are your things that you're chasing the whole
Gotcha.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in the end, you're just like, never mind.
So you let them die?
No, you just decide that you're not really worried about it. Kind of.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird. Like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm trying not to be too spoilery about
Do you
it.
smoke some space weed and go, fuck it?
You're just like, maybe we shouldn't do this thing that we've been trying to do this entire game.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of a minor quibble, but from a gameplay standpoint, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was close enough to a Souls-like, which, thanks to you, have become one of my favorite genres of games.
They're so good.
I decided that they are so good once you understand them. If you
Yeah.
don't understand them, they are the most aggravating things in the world, and just suck the joy out of life.
Well, the problem is like the barrier to entry is very, very high, and all of the rest of gaming, except for PvP stuff, is designed to bring you from point A to point B in a story with a moderate amount of difficulty. And that's it.
Not these games.
Not these games. Every one of these games is brutally difficult. Even the easiest ones are brutally difficult. And it's interesting because one of the great satisfactions about these games is starting to understand the systems that therein lie, and seeing your progress as a player as well as your progress in the storylines of the games, because they happen not like one-to-one, but there are times when I'll pull stuff off in Sekiro, which is a Souls-like. I'll pull something off in Sekiro that I'm just like, yep, that was awesome. That felt like that felt like a fucking ninja just did that, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
for
me, Dark Souls 3, when I finally, and I do mean finally, because I was stuck on it for probably, almost a good 2 weeks, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally was able to beat the Nameless King, just that dopamine rush from
you've never been so erect in your life
was so gratifying. Of like, finally, you bastard, you're dead.
You could have
gotten
want to
fight you again.
3 hotties, and this would be better.
And I got so good at the first part of that. Like, I could fly through the first part of that encounter, but the second part he would just wreck me every time
with his goddamn metal hair. Yeah.
And his stupid wind thing. Anyways, this is very off topic.
Yeah.
But so that's the great thing about those games. They absolutely, like, once you accomplish something, you feel so good about them.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say that Fallen Order was on the easier side of a Souls-like. I don't think it's quite the most difficult one, but it had enough of the elements that I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
There were definitely a few bosses that I got stuck on, that it took me a while to figure out how to actually play against them. The former Jedi who turns to the dark side kind of comes to mind. When you find him on, I forget what planet it is, but so the gameplay was very satisfying. It was fun. I thought it was a great representation of actually getting to be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the Star Wars at all, I think that it had enough of those elements, and just some of the iconic things, fighting the little ATST
mm-hmm.
that you get to go up against, and meeting some of the characters saw Guerrera.
Oh, so
there's enough tie-in.
Forrest Whitaker in his eye.
Exactly. So there's enough tie-in that, like, it makes it feel like
Star Wars
of the story. Yeah, not but to me it felt like more a part of the story, like, how do I say it? Like, canon. It felt more canon.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
As opposed to, what was the one with Starkiller?
Force Awakens. Force Unleashed. Excuse me. Force Awakens was episode 7. Force Unleashed. You know what's funny? You bring that up as a comparison because it didn't feel canon. I actually loved being basically a Jedi comic book hero in Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2. I really actually enjoyed that gameplay.
And I get that. It's not that I didn't enjoy. I'm just saying, like, the fact that it was more canon made me enjoy the game more.
I gotcha.
It just it really felt like more part of the story than some of the other games that have come out. So
I get it. Like when I saw Andor, which if you haven't seen Andor,
it's really good.
It's really good.
Super good.
The fact that Saw Gerrera shows up in Andor was such a great moment of tying in that early story to what happens to that character later. I really, really love that.
Can we just talk about Saw Gerrera for a second and like how he's just in everything Star Wars? Like he is the most like he is a character that's become a thing that just ties everything together now, from his first appearance in Clone Wars all the way through his death in
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yeah. Like that guy did everything.
He did it all.
So yeah,
he did it his way.
He absolutely did. So that game, I like I said, I enjoyed the heck out of it. Yeah. Played it, more than once, and that has me super stoked for the upcoming one for Jedi Survivor.
Yeah,
I'm excited for some of the new systems that we were kind of briefly brushed on, like. Apparently you get to dismember more. I know that sounds...
More dismemberments.
Sounds dark,
I don't know.
But...
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I mean, it's all going to be lightsaber combat, so cauterized wounds, no gore.
That's why I like it.
You're still gonna see, an arm flying this way, leg flying that way. What's up? There's just an epidemic of Jedi.
Well, again, like I said,
he thinks all of these people are diabetic.
So many have survived, so...
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. The Emperor he was just not good. Emperor and Vader, like, oh, big scary Vader. Oh, guess what? I got force powers. I'm just going to hide. Meh.
Oh, actually, I'd like to go back for a second. That was one of the things I really enjoyed about not Force Awakens.
Force Unleashed?
Fallen Order.
Okay.
Was the Darth Vader fight.
Okay.
I liked it because you got to fight him, but you didn't get to beat him because it's freaking Vader.
It's Vader, yeah.
You shouldn't
be able to beat him, yeah.
And I thought that was handled really well. That just in my opinion, I enjoyed how that sequence was laid out.
I mean, the Rogue One scene where Vader comes onto the Corellian Corvette at the end was such a good scene. It was so well done.
It's one of the first times you really feel like Vader's
an actual badass.
He's an actual badass, like he's supposed to be.
Yeah, being a walking, opera, fucking.
Before,
prop.
like, it's implied that he's imposing and terrifying. It's never really shown, and that moment showed it.
I mean, the closest we get is the Jedi Force choke that he does on that one, like, commander in the war room with Grand Moff Tarkin in New Hope. So yeah, I would agree with that. Like you want your big scary villains to feel like big scary villains, and sometimes you need more than just the way that other people react to that villain to be like it's one thing for me.
It's a show versus tell.
Yeah, it's a show versus tell thing. Like if I'm in a room with 10 people and somebody walks in and all 10 of those people are like, oh my God, I just soiled myself. That's, okay, all right. Maybe this person is to be feared. But if that one guy walks in and starts like, laser sorting down everybody, I'm like, oh shit, I got to get out of here.
Limbs if he dismembers people.
Yeah, he just there goes another limb. Somebody's ear flew that way. That's some great lightsaber skill there, buddy. So, yeah. So the dismembering, the fact that they're going to add a couple of different lightsaber forms, apparently, like the non-canonical stuff in Star Wars is so good, and the fact that LucasArts threw 90% of it away when they went Disney, the fact that Disney did that, like, like, why would you get rid of the Timothy Zahn story? That would have been the perfect way to have 3 stories after after
there were
Jedi.
some
Those
questionable
books were
decisions made.
so good. Timothy Zahn did such a great job with them. Grand Admiral Thrawn is literally the only character that I've ever thought like could be a villain in Star Wars, because he changed the way that you kind of thought about Star. Like with Vader, it was always and intense eyeglass moments, and a little bit of like attempting to be subtle with the menace. With Palpatine, it was just an old guy that looked like, maybe he's just a little delusional from spending too much time at the Jedi old folks home. Like maybe that's it. Just walking around going, good, like, but Thrawn was actively terrifying throughout the entirety of that series of books. Like his ability to just think past everybody that he was up against, up until he made the classic blunder that he did towards the end of
He
the
went and
third book.
gets the Sicilian with death on the line.
Kind of a little bit, but the Sicilian was supposed to be his ally.
Yeah,
but he'd forgotten that it wasn't an ally; it was a slave race. Like, yeah, a little bit, little fucked, little fuckery.
Well, they brought him back. You know that, right?
They brought him back,
again.
but like, instead we got Force Awakens and Last of the Jedi.
I mean, yes,
like we got those instead. We didn't need those. Those were terrible. They were all terrible.
They weren't all terrible.
They were terrible.
Even the second one, which was mostly terrible, wasn't like it had its moments.
Nope, not at all. Finn should have been a Jedi. Rey should have had a character arc instead of just being an absolute badass from the beginning. Like, again,
I maintain that one of the biggest problems was the fact that they changed directors, and the second guy went, "I want to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about what you did."
Yeah,
that's a problem. Like, you can't just disregard everything that came before it. Like they were building something, and you went, "Nah."
Well, that's like tonal shifts in things like that are just awful. I don't know. I like what Dave Filoni did with the Mandalorian. I didn't like I didn't like what happened with Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Like,
I thought Obi-Wan was great. Personally, I really liked it. I thought I thought it did what it needed to do. I do find Boba Fett hilarious in the sense that like they kind of gave up on it at the end. They're like, you know what? Everybody just wants the Mandalorian. We'll just give him the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, just like gave him to him. Just gave him to him. Like, I get the impulse. You could have made a story with Boba Fett in it that didn't have Boba Fett as the primary character. I don't think you needed that. Like, he was a bit character in the movies that they tried to roll into a whole. Yeah. Oh yeah. Looked cool. Looked intimidating. Had 4 lines.
Yeah. I never understood that. And again,
he's no good.
Boba Fett looked freaking cool, and he has spawned the entire Mandalorian culture because of him, kind of thing. But yeah, he didn't really do a whole lot in the original movies.
Nope. He got his backpack hit, and then he went into the Sarlacc.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done just as much with Bosk, the lizard guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Or IG-88, the droid.
I mean, they could have had their own. In fact, they should. Well, the way Disney's going, they probably will get their own story soon enough.
Yeah. I look forward to that. Thank you, Disney, for that. More Andor, please. More Andor. Although I heard that they're doing the 2nd season, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
So but yeah, so more forms. They're doing another nod to another great game. They're doing a system like they had in Breath of the Wild with the shrines. They're doing something similar to that with it. There will be fast travel, which is something that I know I would have liked in the first game, so that's good. More Jedi power upgrades, so now you'll be able to do things like throw people across the room.
So
with the greatest of ease, which I like. I like that. I like it.
I'm kind of curious about for 2 different reasons. One, again, as I kind of brought up with you earlier, we were talking about how in the first game, by the end, like, you're pretty overpowered.
Yeah.
Like, from a story standpoint, it's kind of like Cal's basically one of the most powerful Jedis just because of all the bullshit he gets.
Yeah.
I mean, to make the game interesting, obviously. So that's kind of silly. But I'm also curious to see how they handle the reset that every character has to have when they get a second game.
Like
from a story standpoint.
For some reason, every single time Kratos gets to a new game, like some succubus comes along and sucks his powers out, and suddenly he's got to go back and get his pump on again. Like, can't we just build on the foundation that was already there, or we got to like go back through everything and get new shit again for the fourth time? Okay, all right, let's do it. Kratos is fun to watch, and look, he. Yeah, good game. Go team. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be interesting. I look forward to playing it. I don't know if that'll be a stream game or not. It might be a game that we play on stream. That'd be all right. That'd be okay. So yeah. I think that's all I've got for tonight's gaming stuff. How do you feel? Feel good?
Yeah, feel good.
Feel sated? Feel fulfilled for this week?
I like it.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me again for another wonderful episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. As always, we'd like to shout out to the mutual support groups that we hope you turn to in your time of need. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will have seen those mutual support groups up in our left-hand corner, right-hand corner, over there. I'm pointing to my left, but it's on the right side of the screen.
Pointing all the places.
I know. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, aasecular.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. And Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. And for family and friends that need a little help in a group type environment, there's Al-Anon Family Groups. That's al-anon.alateen.org or 1-888-425-2666. From all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, I'm Will.
I'm Steve.
And we wish you the warmest and creamiest of all of the regards, everyone. Good night. You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SVP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.